What's the most insane thing you had to do because you drew the short straw? Every year on January 1st, my father made us draw straws, and whoever got the short straw had to fake a severe illness for the entire year to collect disability benefits to fund the family's lifestyle. Dad was a failed actor who discovered that sympathy paid better than talent. He'd spent 10 years in Hollywood waiting tables and bombing auditions before he figured out his real gift, making people cry. Not through performance, but through pity. It started with my older brother, Luca. Dad made him fake leukemia for 3 years straight. 3 years. Luca shaved his head, learned to walk slowly, practiced dry heaving on cue. They raised $200,000 on GoFundMe. Dad called it method acting for survival. My sister Clara played a paralyzed girl for 2 years. Dad got her a wheelchair from Craigslist and taught her to transfer in and out like she'd been doing it her whole life. The church donated a wheelchair-accessible van. We used it for family vacations to Disney World while Clara walked around the park after hours. Dad had connections everywhere. A corrupt doctor who'd lost his license but still had prescription pads. A nurse who'd steal medical supplies for our performances. He ran drills like we were preparing for the Olympics. "Your limp is inconsistent," he'd scream at Clara. "Cancer patients don't suddenly forget they're dying." Then came my turn. January 1st, 2019. I was 15. My hands shook as I reached into Dad's baseball cap. I knew before I even looked, the short straw felt different, heavier somehow. Dad grinned like he'd won the lottery, which I guess he had. "Early onset MS," he announced. "Young enough to be tragic, slow enough to milk for years." He trained me for 2 weeks straight. YouTube videos of real MS patients, medical textbooks from the library. I learned to drag my left foot just enough to be noticeable, practiced dropping things at specific moments, a slight slur on certain words. Dad filmed everything, critiquing my performance like a director. "You're not committing to the tremor," he'd say, rewinding the footage. "MS isn't just when it's convenient, it's always." School was the worst. Teachers gave me extensions I didn't need. Kids carried my books. The pretty girl in chemistry offered to be my lab partner because she felt sorry for me. I ran track in the next town over under a fake name, but at my school, I clutched walls and stumbled. The fundraisers made me physically sick. Not fake sick, like real gut-churning, bathroom-puking sick. The school raised $50,000. The Rotary Club added another $20,000. Make-A-Wish started planning my dream trip to Japan. Dad was already researching how to resell first-class tickets, but 8 months in, I couldn't take it anymore. The breaking point was this assembly. The whole school gathered to present me with a giant check for $50,000. The principal made a speech about courage. The choir sang Fight Song. My AP history teacher was crying. I walked to the microphone. No limp, no tremor, just walked. "I need to tell you all something," I said. The words came out clear. No slur. "I don't have MS. I've never been sick. My family makes us fake illnesses for money." You could hear a pin drop. Then someone laughed, thinking it was a joke. And chaos. Dad was in the audience. I watched his face cycle through shock, rage, then that cold calculation I knew too well. He stood up slowly, shaking his head with practiced sorrow. "The disease has spread to his brain," he announced. "This is what we feared. MS-induced psychosis. He doesn't know what he's saying." Within an hour, I was in an ambulance. Dad had called his corrupt doctor friend. The paperwork said, "Acute psychological break secondary to progressive MS." They shot me full of something that made thinking feel like swimming through mud. I spent 2 weeks in a psychiatric facility, forcibly medicated while Dad did damage control. He gave interviews about his brave son battling mental illness on top of MS. Started a new fundraiser for my psychiatric care. But here's the thing about forcing someone into a psych ward. The staff there are actually trained to spot lies. A nurse recognized me. She'd worked the oncology ward during Luca's fake leukemia years. She'd suspected then, but couldn't prove anything. Now she had her chance. She helped me palm my meds instead of swallowing them, kept me lucid enough to speak to a reporter she knew. The police raided our house 2 days later. They found Dad's performance notes for every illness, spreadsheets calculating profit margins, scripts for doctor visits, videos of us practicing symptoms. Dad got 10 years for fraud. Mom got 5 as an accomplice. Luca testified for immunity. Clara refused to speak at all. I testified alone, explained every lie, every stolen dollar, every faked symptom. I told everyone that I was never sick. The only disease in our house was greed. The town thinks I'm either a victim or a villain, but none of that matters now because I live with my aunt now, 3 states away.